welcome back for another video. The time is finally here. It is finally college football season. Week 0 kicks off this Saturday, August 24th. The 2024 college football season is finally here. We've been waiting for a long time. We are excited. Things are finally back. It's week 0. There's not too many games. There's only 4 games this Saturday, but we'll take it. We're just happy that college football is back. Go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below and I will make sure to respond. If you want to keep up with everything college football, every game we will be going over every single week. The spreads, money lines, the over-unders. We'll be covering all of them in depth, and we'll also be doing the same thing for every NFL game once the NFL season starts. But what we're going to do today is we're going to mainly concentrate on the game of the weekend. I do already have my predictions video if you want to check that out. Later this week, we'll have our best bets video coming out for all 4 games. But today, the game of the weekend is Florida State versus Georgia Tech. This is the biggest game of the weekend. Like I said, there's only 4 games, but it's a big game. When you look at what ESPN predicts here, this game is going to be kicking off Saturday, August 24th in Dublin, Ireland. Why is it in Ireland? I don't really have a good answer for that. To me, if you were starting out in Ireland like last season, it should have been Notre Dame kicking things off. But it's Florida State, Georgia Tech. It will be in Ireland. Florida State, this game is at 12 p.m. on ESPN. Florida State's coming into this game ranked number 10. That's a massive deal because of how last season unfolded. Florida State wants to make sure they don't take any chances and that doesn't happen to them this year. Georgia Tech is not ranked as of right now. Florida State comes in as 11-point favorites. The over-under is 55.5. So a decently scoring game, but we all know what happened to Florida State last season, how the 2023 season ended. It ended with a lot of what-ifs. What if Jordan Travis didn't get hurt? What if this team had stayed healthy? What if Travis stays healthy and they make the playoffs? We know how everything unfolded. Jordan Travis goes down. Florida State goes undefeated, 13-0, wins the ACC, and the committee moves them back and dumps them out of the Final Four. They don't make the playoffs. The rest is history. A lot of people think that was not fair how they treated Florida State. There's no way that you can change that. All that you can do is go forward, win this season. Play your games every weekend, stay healthy, win. So Florida State, obviously you have Mike Norvell. He has almost a whole new roster this season. They lost a lot of their starters from last season, went off to the NFL. Very talented team, but he is bringing back a new batch of starters, but they are just as talented as last year's squad. Georgia Tech, you have the head coach, Brent Key. He's coming in. He's looking to build on the momentum that they left off with last season. They had a very strong season. I think they were 7-6. That might not seem like a lot, but that's probably one of the better Georgia Tech seasons. And they played really competitively versus really good teams, especially the last game of the year when they lost to Georgia by a 1-touchdown game. Now, Florida State, obviously 13-0 last season. You don't need to go 13-0 this season. We are letting in 12 teams into the playoffs. Obviously, if you win your conference, you automatically get in, get the bye. That's what Florida State has their eye on right now. Winning the conference, getting the bye, picking up where they left off last season. But some of the names aren't going to be there for this game. We're not going to have the running back Trey Benson, quarterback Jordan Travis, wide receiver Keon Coleman. They're all gone. They're off to the NFL right now. But Florida State does find themselves in the perfect position, as I previously mentioned. They're coming in here number 10. They just need to make it into the final 12. And this team is loaded. Norvell has been recruiting at a high level. He's been working the portal at an even higher level every single year, bringing in top 10 portal classes. The main piece they added this offseason, DJU transfers over from Oregon State. Very familiar with the ACC conference from his time playing with Clemson. This team is loaded with playmakers. He knows the field, he knows the conference, and you have Norvell calling plays, who's going to perfectly situate the game towards DJU's strengths. Now, DJU's not going to be a Heisman candidate. He's not going to come into this game and throw for 450 yards and run for 150, but he will put up decent stats. He's not going to do anything to lose you the game, and I think you're going to see the best version of DJU this year. He had a solid season last season with Oregon State, but I think this is going to be his best year of the time that he's been in college. Now, Georgia Tech, obviously, they have a lot of production returning back for this game. They have 15 starters coming back on offense and defense from a team that went 7-6 last season. Their best year, and a lot of those guys are coming back. They're veterans this year. So Georgia Tech should have an even better season this season in 2024. No one's going to be sleeping on them. If you get caught sleeping on them, let's say like Miami did last year, you're going to lose. This is a very talented team. Norvell's going to be looking in this game to keep the ball on the ground and pound. Sorry about that. Even though Benson's gone, the running back room is still legit. You have the running back Williams leading the way, the wide receiver Benson. He's going to be looking to be DJU's security blanket. Third downs when they need the first down. Look for DJU to look for Benson, get him the ball. Williams is going to have a solid season, probably a 1,000-yard season at the running back position. We know that Florida State's going to be bringing a solid defense into this game. Even though they lost some pieces from last year's squad, Verse and all those guys, this defense is going to be their strength. Rely on their defense. DJU, offense, just don't have turnovers. Play the game safe. Let the defense force turnovers, get you short fields. That's going to be a given, relying on the defense. That's your foundation. Georgia Tech, though, they have a top 3 running back in the ACC, possibly a top 10 or top 15 running back in the entire nation right now. Haynes is coming back. He had 1,100 yards last season, averaged 6.1 yards per carry. The line's going to be older. He's going to be older, more experienced in this scheme. Probably going to have a better game a better season this year. But, Georgia Tech, they're a run-first team. They averaged 204 yards per game on the ground last season. They're going to be looking to chew up clock, keep the ball out of Florida State's offense's hands, get first down running the ball, force the defense to have to play and stop them at the line of scrimmage. But unfortunately for Georgia Tech, the line of scrimmage is probably Florida State's strength. So you're going to be running your strength versus their strength. So this game's going to come down to who's going to win strength on strength. Florida State has a solid defensive line led by pass rusher Patrick Payton. Now the quarterback King, he's already shown that he can handle the load. King was a very solid running back for Georgia Tech last season, played really well. A very solid quarterback. He had 2,900 yards last season, 27 touchdowns. He's going to have a very solid year this season. Look for him to pick up where he left off last season to continue to perform at a very high level. Now, the biggest issue for Georgia Tech is their rush defense was awful last season. They averaged 222 yards per game last season. That's what they gave up rushing the ball on the ground. Their weakness is their rush defense, and that's going to be what Florida State wants the strength to be on the offensive side is their run game. We already looked at what Vegas predicts. Vegas has Florida State favored by 11, the over-under at 55.5. It's kind of an odd game. It's out of the country. It's in Ireland. Georgia Tech is better than they were last season. Florida State has a lot of new starters, so we don't know what to fully expect from Florida State as of yet because there's a lot of new starters here. So with those things that I just mentioned, there's a lot of unknowns with this Florida State team. So I just can't pick them to win 45-10 because we don't know what we're getting with a lot of these players. New players, new scheme, new system, especially at the quarterback position with DJU. I think he's going to prosper here. I think this team is going to prosper, but I just can't throw it all out there game one because I want to see it first. I want to be able to put my eyes on DJU in this scheme, in this system, and how they're going to perform versus Division I competition. But I think the Florida State team is extremely talented. They're going to have a great season nonetheless. So this isn't holding back from that. But Vegas predicts them to win by 11 over under 55.5. I have Florida State winning. I don't think that's necessarily a question here. Georgia Tech, very talented. Don't take them for granted. They can easily win this game. They can do it. They have the talent. But I have Florida State winning 33-20. So I have them covering the spread, but I'm going to go with the under. I think the game's going to be a little more lopsided, but Georgia Tech's going to get a fourth quarter late touchdown. That makes the game look a little closer. But either way, Florida State wins an in-conference game on the road out of the country, starts out the regular season 1-0. So that's our breakdown our preview and prediction of the Week 0 Florida State versus Georgia Tech matchup. Go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below and I will respond. Thank you.